Hello, dear viewer. I hope you're keeping well, and thank you for joining me on Nairobi Real Estate Insights this week. On this show, we delve into the intricacies of buying an ideal dream home as well as properties for investment. My name is Carol Koch. Today, we are joined by an award-winning and seasoned real estate agent all the way from the beautiful island of Mauritius, a tropical paradise for a perfect destination for authentic interactions, living, working, and other diverse, meaningful experiences. Allow me to introduce Mr. Phillipe Deer. He is the co-founder and CEO of Parkland Properties based in Mauritius. Parkland Properties is a leading real estate and family luxury boutique agency. It's also an international affiliate of leading real estate companies of the world and Luxury Portfolio International. He founded the agency alongside his wife Frederique about 20 years ago. In 2022, under the leadership of Mr. Philippe Deer, Parkland Properties was recognized as the best luxury real estate brokerage in Mauritius by Luxury Lifestyle Awards. In 2023, he won the African Property Awards as the best real estate agency, 2 to 4 offices in Africa, and the International Property Awards 2023-24 as the best international agency, 2 to 4 offices. With all these, I personally can consider this as a testament of excellence in luxury real estate market. Dear viewer, this will be a very insightful episode, so please stick around to the very end. And now let's meet the man of the hour to listen in on exactly what it takes to own and purchase property in Mauritius. Good morning, Mr. Philippe. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Carol, for hosting us. And it's a pleasure for me to be with you. All the way from Mauritius, the island of Mauritius, sunny Mauritius as usual during the year. So it's true we've met recently after Carol and Koch Properties managed to win the prestigious African Property Award for Best Website 23 and 24. So congratulations for that. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
And a pleasure. And it's true that I'm really impressed by the exceptional work you and your team are doing in Kenya. We love Africa. We love Kenya. And it's a real pleasure to be able to collaborate together. It's true that your efforts to help foreigners own properties, not just in Kenya, but globally, are commendable and inspiring. So thank you again, Carol, for hosting me today and allowing me to present Mauritius and all the advantages and what Mauritius has to offer. And it's an honor to be here and witness the amazing impact that you're making in the real estate world. And I hope that together we can assist many buyers to explore the Mauritius as a new destination for investment and relocation.
Always a pleasure and an honor to have you. So, Mr. Philippe, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. All right, so I'll dive into this short presentation about Mauritius. So I'll just quickly connect you to my screen, and there you are. All right, so Mauritius, beautiful island. I think most of you know where it is, but if you don't know, this is where we are in the middle of the Indian Ocean, east to Madagascar. We are African country, so we are part of the same, maybe not same continent, but same region, and we are part of Africa. So our population, 1.3 million. A few little highlights. I won't go into the details, but we speak English and French. The capital is Port Louis. The culture is a very cosmopolitan mix of Indian, African, European, and Chinese cultures. We've got our own currency, the Mauritian rupee. The time zone is very interesting. We plus GMT +4, so that's 1 hour from Kenya, and 2 hours or 3 hours from Europe, and 2 hours from time difference from South Africa. We've got 2 seasons, if we can say. We've got the summer from November to April, and then we've got a winter between May and October, even though, let's say, the colder month would be June, July, but otherwise we're enjoying a very mild or hot weather. All right, so why do people come to Mauritius to work, to live, to retire? These are a few highlights. So obviously the tropical climate attracts a lot of tourists first, but obviously also people that come to move to Mauritius, either for property investments or just relocation, retirement. The natural beauty, we've got stunning beaches, we've got beautiful landscapes. There's a lot of recreational activities ranging from water sports to hiking, golfing. Obviously, golfing is very well known here because we've got tournament level golf courses, and you might have seen on SuperSport every year the Afri-Asia tournament, which is broadcast on SuperSport. So there's a real cultural melting pot because of our different origins. So there's a very harmonious blend of cultures, of cuisines, and different festivals along the year. Our health and education is of quality. We've got an increasing quality of health services across the island with new private clinics coming up, which is very good for us who use the clinics, because the more competition, the better the services. So that is really increasing. The safety is one of the safest countries in the region with a very low crime rate. And that attracts a lot of people coming to retire and coming out of Africa or even Europe. It's a very friendly and welcoming local expatriate communities. We are having a very laid-back lifestyle, enjoying a relaxed pace of life, conducive to stress-free living. But obviously, we work hard when we need to, and the Mauritians are hard workers. So that is the few of the quality, the living and social amenities of the island. As I had mentioned, you can really enjoy sports and recreational activities on the ground, under the sea, in the air, with beautiful landscapes and natural beauty. All right, so here you've got a few of these shots. Business-wise, Mauritius is known for its stability and growth. We enjoy a real economic and political stability, which is very important when people come to a country. We have seen consistent growth economically, and we are therefore one of the most stable economies in Africa. It's a very investor-friendly, so the government has set a lot of incentives to attract foreigners, and we are #1 in Africa for the ease of doing business. We've got a very strong banking and business sector. We've got international banks. We've got African banks here. And we've got a federal taxation. That is one of the main points that attract businesses, but also individuals. With the low tax jurisdictions, we have at the moment for private income tax between 10 and 20%. And corporate tax is a flat 15% tax. In some cases, some businesses enjoy 3% tax in the offshore and also the export zone. We've got a financial sector which is very developed and supported by government policies. That's why many companies have chosen Mauritius to establish their head office or offices here, especially those that want to do business between Asia and Africa or Europe and Africa. We've got a legal framework, very strong, with a very transparent legal procedures. We've got growing sectors that are really establishing themselves here, the fintech, ICT, renewable energies, and the government is really giving out a lot of incentives for those companies coming to invest in those fields. We've got a skilled workforce educated in English and French, so that allows companies to come establish their head office or secondary offices, or even sometimes call centers to come and establish their companies here and be able to employ the Mauritian workforce. Okay, so you see here that the island is well developed. We've got an international airport, and you've got here a little snapshot of a few beautiful buildings we've got in Mauritius. Okay, so now the Mauritian lifestyle. Obviously, we mentioned it. We've got a strategic location. We positioned really as a central hub for Africa and Asia, but also I was mentioning for Africa and Europe. International access is excellent. We've got direct flights to all major hubs in Africa. Through South Africa, we've got direct flights to Kenya, Nairobi. We've got direct flights to Asia, to Europe, to Dubai, and through that we can connect through the whole world. So we're only 2 to 3 hours time difference with Europe, I had mentioned, and 2 hours with South Africa. We are 4 hours flight from Kenya, we are 4 hours flight from South Africa, and about 11 hours from Europe. We've got a very well-developed transport and utility networks. We've got now the tram, okay, so which is connecting a lot of cities, and a lot of users are using the Metro Express, which is a kind of tram. We enjoy a very nice mix of culinary different types of meals, which is a blend of international and Creole cuisine. And the expat community is really working and living very well together with the locals here, who are very welcoming in their approach. Okay, so we've got cultural events all year round, and I had mentioned that the English and French are widely spoken, which is really easy for expats coming from both the French countries and the English-speaking countries. And we enjoy, obviously, our luxury hotels are, and that's why we're very well known in the tourist industry, with beautiful hotels all along the shores of Mauritius. And we enjoy also a lot of entertainment options, indoor and outdoor. Okay, so we've got international schools. Here you see a little picture of the tram, and families come and enjoy and establish themselves here. Very diverse cuisine, we had mentioned it. So different types of residency programs, and you can gate residency by investing $50,000 in a business activity, or in high-tech equipment. Again, you're also able to invest $375,000 in business activities that you can see here: agro-based industry, audiovisual, cinema, banking, financial services, fisheries. And which is of interest today is how you can get residency by investing $375,000 in property, and I will get into the details. There's also residency when you come as a self-employed. So basically, this is ideal for freelancers, consultants who are still having their clients overseas, and they come here. They've got to make an initial transfer of $35,000 in their professional activity, and you've got to make a certain turnover per year to be able to extend your permit after the 3rd year. So that comes after 3 years. Then residency by profession. Some come to be employed by a multinational or local company, and they've just reduced that threshold minimum salary, so that makes it very, affordable, let's say, for companies to employ foreigners. They've reduced, since the last national budget, the monthly salary threshold to 30,000 rupees, which is approximately $670 per month, a very low salary, which enables companies, local companies, to really employ professionals around the world. All right, so now residency by retirement. This is very promoted by the government overseas. We call it the silver economy. This concerns retired non-citizens that can come. They don't have to invest in property. They can also come. They can rent a property. They can also buy, of course. And they get a permit for 3 years, which is then, after the 3 years, renewable for 20 years. There are projects which we call PDS for senior living. And these projects, you are able to invest in these projects at a minimum price set by the government of $200,000 tickets and properties at that price, because it all depends on the developers at what price they're pricing their properties. But let's say that's the minimum that the government has set for developers to sell their properties in a PDS for senior living. Why do people actually come and invest in property in Mauritius? Well, as I said, Mauritius really offers a wealth of advantages to international investors. First, some of the reasons. So strategic diversification to enhance their investment portfolio. And that's why they come to Mauritius, because we enjoy a very strong and robust and stable property market with a very strong regulatory framework. They also come because we can offer attractive returns. In some developments, returns can be between 2 to 4%, but even in some properties which are like hotel residences, with apartments, penthouses, which are attached to the hotels, and we see more and more of these developments, then obviously the rental return is really linked to the performance of the hotel, and we can even see the 6 and the 7 and the 8% type of returns, which are very attractive in today's world. Investing in property in Mauritius is also a pathway to residency. I had mentioned a little bit earlier that, but if you invest in a property which is accessible to foreigners at a minimum price of $375,000, it gives you residency. The asset is really appreciating through the years. We've experienced capital growth on the island since the government allowed foreigners to acquire property in Mauritius. So that is obviously one of the main aspects which encourages foreign property owners and investors to come and invest in Mauritius in property. It's a very tax efficient country. We enjoy tax-free environment with no property tax, no capital gains tax, no inheritance taxes. So that is very interesting, and finance is accessible. All right. So how can you invest in property? I said it, you cannot just buy anything you want. The government has regulated the property acquisition for the foreigners just to also protect the local market. So what they've conceived through the years is that the government has set in place schemes which allow foreigners to buy into resorts. Okay, they've been named through different names. That's why when you start looking into Mauritius, you will come across different names of schemes. The IRS, International Resort Scheme, the RES, which is Real Estate Scheme, the PDS, Property Development Scheme, really hotel rooms or villas, and the smart cities. Smart cities are more big cities that are being conceived with different amenities, recreational offices, residences, commercial centers. So these are the smart cities, and smart cities are, I think you've got about 5 or 6 in the country at the moment, and they offer different types of properties along the way, commercial, residential. Back in 2016, the government opened up a little bit more the property market and allowed foreigners to also buy apartments. Okay, so apartments outside of these approved resorts that I mentioned just before. Okay, the other rule is that the minimum price that the developer is allowed to sell a unit in a ground plus 2 is 6 million rupees to be able to sell it to a foreigner. Obviously, we've got the private local developers who are also doing developments cheaper than that, but then it cannot be sold to a foreigner. And once again, you get permanent residency if the apartment is above $375,000. So the third one, and I mentioned it slightly earlier, for the senior, you can buy property in a PDS for senior living. So it's for seniors, you need to be over 50. So gladly I qualify for it. But and it grants permanent residency to you and your spouse. Fourth, and it's a new rule, we don't know how long it's going to last, but for those that are existing residents, so the foreigners that are already an existing resident through another company, another property that they already bought above $375,000, they got their permanent residency, or investors that are here on business and they've invested in the company and they got permanent residency through an investor visa, or they may be retired non-citizens and they've got, therefore, their visa as a retired citizen. All these people qualify to now buy one property anywhere on the island, provided it's not freehold, provided it's a residential property, provided it's on land which is below 0.52 hectares, and provided the price is above $500,000. And in these cases, they would pay an additional duty. So when it comes to the cost of property acquisitions, it's pretty straightforward. And these are the costs that are incurred by the buyer. Okay, they are payable at the notary at the time of the signature of the deed of sale. The notary fees for all off-plan developments, buyers would generally pay a flat fee to the notary of 1% plus VAT, so it makes it 1.15%. Some notaries charge a little bit more depending on the work involved in the off-plan development, but usually it's about 1% plus 15% VAT. On the resales, it's according to a schedule. So I've just given you two examples. For a sale of $375,000, the amount of the notary fees would come to 0.77%. Agency fees, you must know that on off-plan developments, you would not pay agency fees. We as agents, we've been in the market for now 20 years. We represent most of the reputable developments across the island. So the buyer does not pay any agency fees when it comes to off-plan developments. 99% of the cases, okay? Some cases we would have to invoice the buyer and it would only be 2%, but rarely. It's only when we come to resales. So if you buy a property which is a resale from a private owner, then you would pay us, the agency, 2% plus VAT on the 2%. Unfortunately, you have to pay the VAT, even though you're a foreigner, because the services are rendered in Mauritius. So you would pay 2.3% of the sale value of the property. So basically, the cost of acquisitions are between 6.15% and around 8.45% value of the property. What makes Mauritius an attractive country? And I hope that this gives you a good little insight of a beautiful country. And we hope to welcome you and assist your clients, Carol, anytime.
Mr. Philippe, thank you so much for your time. It has been amazing.
Such a pleasure. And we welcome any international buyers and any advice that they may have. We also work with a lot of local consultants, tax advisors, management companies that are useful when they want to establish their company here, their structures, and have legal advice on how to buy property, if it's under your own name, under company structure. So all of this, we can supply all the services and all the consultants that we work with.
To you watching this video, a takeaway note would be it's possible to own that dream home in Mauritius, and we are glad we have our partnering agency, Parkland Properties, under Mr. Phillipe Deer to help you with the process of acquiring a property in Mauritius. Philippe, allow us to drop the line now, and next time you hear from us, we will be sharing the clients who are ready to buy property in Mauritius. Until next time, you have a great time over there.
Such a pleasure. Speak soon.